Madonna. Okay, Madonna, you win that one. Father Henry Carr. And I believe St. Joe's Mo. Okay, ladies. So I love the excitement in the room. I think you're going to have an awesome day. Today, some of you will want to get more information. Some of you will be grateful for what you experienced, and some of you will find your passion today. So I want you to continue to have that open mind. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a special thank you to Bishop Morocco Thomas Merton for hosting this wonderful event for the third year in a row, to Mr. Chen, Ms. Hickey, Mr. Bellissimo, and the staff for always being so accommodating and welcoming all of you into their home. I wanted to say a special thank you to the tech crew at the back because they're going to help me look good. And we're going to have a fantastic day. Okay, I know that you're going to want to have a lot of conversation. What I'd like you to try to do throughout today is focus on what the speakers are talking to you about and the information, because it's in that information that you will find the power and the courage to move forward in whatever career you choose. Why are we here today? We're here, most importantly, for you to become aware of all of the varieties of opportunities that exist in the skilled trades in Ontario and throughout Canada. We want you to have the opportunity to find meaningful experiential learning experiences in the trades in which women are underrepresented in areas such as electrical, plumbing, carpentry, automotive, and construction craft worker. You're going to hear women today that are successful and represent these different areas. We want to educate you to all of the possibilities and reinforce the value of every career choice and of every decision that you make as you move forward past elementary, past secondary, and past post-secondary. But most importantly, too, you're going to meet some amazing women today. Here's the agenda for today. We had a little bit of a late start, but we will go through a presentation. We're going to do the Kahoot app. We're going to hear some Ontario Youth Apprenticeship speakers, and you're going to have lunch today here. You're also going to have the opportunity to hear and talk with some expert guest panelists, and then you're going to experience an amazing keynote speaker. At this moment, I would like to introduce to you a man who is a long-time educator and an advocate of the trades, but also he's an advocate of women entering the non-traditional trades. Mr. Luciano Di Loretto is one of the driving forces behind this conference. He has always believed in bringing forth all of the opportunities to all students, but most importantly to you, the young women of our board. Every year, Mr. Di Loretto tries to get me to do more and more of this presentation because he thinks that you need to see more and more women in these roles. I think, how much better can you get than listening to a man that believes that women have the potential to become the next CEO of any company in any career that they choose.
A number because it might scare some people in this room. But I will say that just to link in or hook up to what Ms. McGuckin just said a couple of minutes ago about giving women the opportunity to engage in pathways that maybe in the past we weren't accustomed to. Think about education. I remember when I grew up in school, most of my teachers, especially in secondary school, were male teachers. Most of the department heads and administrators were all male. Vice principals, principals were all male. And 12 years ago, when I was fortunate enough to take on this position as the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program Coordinator for our school board, one of the very first meetings I went to at the school board, there were about 20 people sitting around the table that were at the school board there, part of the Student Success Committee. Of those 20 people, 16 were men and 4 were female. The last student success meetings the last few student success meetings that we would go to, or I've been to, that's been completely reversed. There are now 16 females and 4 males sitting in the room. So over a short period of time, I think that just in the educational area, we've seen a huge change and a huge transition into the potential that we have when we talk about opportunities for females in all areas and all walks of life. And I say that because I have a daughter as well, a daughter that I'm very, very proud of, a daughter who's not afraid to take on new challenges and take on new risks, a daughter who's taught over in Italy and in Kenya. She's gone to school in Ontario and PEI. She's presently living in England and teaching in Cambridge while she's working on her master's. And whatever opportunity comes to her, she's not afraid to take on the challenge. And when I speak to my mother, who loves my daughter very much, her granddaughter, my mother always looks at me as if I've done something wrong. And I'll say, what's the matter, Ma? Every time we talk about Jessica and she's over in England and other places, you seem uncomfortable with that. And she always says, why does she take so many chances? Why can't she just stay home here? With a nice little Italian accent. And so the belief was always, you were a female, you lived in a home, you lived in a city, you lived in a small town, this is what you did, you didn't move or do anything else. And God bless the fact that we're in the 21st century and we're at a time when we're not afraid to do different things and take on different challenges. And so one of the things that I think we need to look at, that oftentimes your parents don't talk to you too much about, and I think that probably your older brothers or sisters don't talk to you much about, or your relatives for that matter. And in many cases, I'm sad to say, maybe even our teachers don't talk to you about. And that's the apprenticeship or the skilled trades pathways, which is a huge opportunity for women today. And you're going to listen to some people this afternoon that have gone through the trades, that have become very, very successful. And some of them have started in careers that you never would have imagined would have led to where they are today. And so I think that it's really, really important that today, that you're engaged with an open mind. Don't sit in those seats and say, you can talk and say all you want. I'm not interested. What you should say is, I'm listening and I'm learning. You know, people with the greatest IQ are people with the best and clearest open mind. That's a fact. If you're closed-minded and I'm not good at math, I'm not doing that, those are the people who score usually the lowest on IQ scores. People who score the highest are the ones who have the most and clearest open mind when it comes to learning. So today is a really good opportunity, like Ms. McGuckin mentioned a few seconds ago. It's a great opportunity to actually learn about something a little bit different, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe 10 years from now, you might look back and say, you know, I remember that day, and I think I'm going to look into a skilled trade. Okay? So one of the things that we want to look at are some of the facts. And some of the facts are pretty clear. That right now in Canada, women make up more than 50% of the workforce. And way back in the 40s and 50s, it was certainly not that way at all. It may have been about 30, 32%. Now we're up to 50% when we talk about women that are in our workforce. That means 1 in every 2 people that are out on the street are females that are actually working. Okay? So that's really, really important to know. The unfortunate part is only 3 to 5% of our women are in the trades. And that has a lot to do with the fact that there's too many stereotypes out there. Again, I'll go back to when I grew up. God forbid you would ever mention to me or my friends to become a nurse. Hilarious, right? To become a flight attendant. A man, flight attendant, that's hilarious, right? I think we still have the same stereotype on the other side of the page when we talk about women and female in skilled trades. Women in a skilled trade, I don't know if I could do that. All right? So that's a stereotype that we want to sort of abolish today if we can, or absolve. 40% of the tradespeople throughout Canada will retire within the next 5 to 10 years. So that's a really interesting fact as well, because when you think about that, you think about the fact that most people right now, even in the educational system, and that's got nothing to do with skilled trades, but we're hitting that 55, 56, 57 years of age average, which means in the next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be a lot of people retiring. And so as difficult as it might seem to you right now, and again, I look at my daughter who had to move to England to find a job, as difficult as it might seem right now, the economy will change insofar as the job outlook is for you in a variety of different areas, okay? And the skilled trades are the same. So in 4 or 5 years, the average person is going to be 61, 62. They'll be retired. They're looking for younger, brighter, more energetic people to get engaged, to become engaged in the skilled trades. The Conference Board of Canada predicts by the year 2020, and that's about 4 years from now, that we're going to need at least 1 million skilled workers in our country. If you listen to the last election, that's all they talked about. Justin Trudeau, that was the basis of his platform. All he talked about was the infrastructure that's breaking down in Canada and the billions of dollars that we need to rebuild that infrastructure. And so what's happened? The moment that he got elected, a short time thereafter, he promised over $30 billion across Canada to rebuild roads and bridges and things like the TTC, Metrolinx, transportation. So there's a lot of money that's being reinvested right now. We're going to need a lot of people to be a part of that in a variety of different areas. And we're going to talk about that in a few short minutes. It's also one thing that really kind of hits me close to home. If you go to university today, to get a degree, it typically takes about 4 years. If a university student walks into a 22-year-old student walks into a party, all other students that are 22, 23 years of age, and tells people that they just got their degree, people look over with this wonderful degree of respect, for lack of a better term. Wow, you got your degree. Oh, you got your master's. It must have taken you 6 years. What we forget is that people that are in the skilled trades, for many of them, it takes 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 or 8 years to get their certificate of qualification. The same amount of time it takes for a student to go through a college diploma or a university degree, it takes pretty well the same amount of time for a student to get a certificate of qualification in a skilled trade, depending on the trade that you're involved in. The good thing is, the huge difference is that when you're going to university or college, you're paying to go to university or college. When you are involved in a skilled trade during all those years, you're actually being paid to learn. That's why we call it earn while you learn. And that's why you find many 23, 24-year-old students that are going through their certificate of qualification process have already purchased their own home, have already bought their own car, they've already been on vacation 2 or 3 times. And more importantly, none of them have any debt, any educational debt. They don't owe a university $30,000 or $20,000. They've already got money in the bank. This is something that people don't tell you, and I think it's really, really important to know that. So I think that what we need to do to step up our game, as people who love what I'm doing, we need to, you, and particularly the government, to recognize that when a person has a certificate of qualification, it's just as good as having a diploma or a degree. And unfortunately, we don't look at it that way now. Because when I ask students everywhere I go, where would you rank a degree? Here, here, or here? Everybody says here. Well, what about a diploma? What about a certificate of qualification? And it shouldn't be that way. They should all be on the same level. When you pick what you like to do and you go to school where you want to go to school, Who's to tell you that yours is worth less than somebody else's passion? No one should ever tell you that. No one. Okay? The government of Ontario alone is now leading over 1,200 construction projects, which I just mentioned a few seconds ago, such as highways, roads, bridges, schools. Look at all our colleges right now. Go visit Seneca College, Humber College, Centennial College. The incredible amount of expansion that they've done over the last 5 or 6 years. And a huge part of their expansion is trades and technologies. All right? Check those schools out, you'll see. Universities, hospitals, community centers, and recreation projects. These are all funded primarily by the Government of Ontario or the Government of Canada. And that's a great area to become involved in regards to, say, the construction industry or other industries like the service industry or the manufacturing industry, okay, or even the automotive industry. So billions of government dollars are now dedicated to new construction across Ontario. So we understand that now. So one thing that we want to also look at is the myths. And you've seen some of these before, and I think that sometimes it's insulting. So let's go through these one at a time. Myth number 1, jobs in skilled trades are not good jobs for women. So I always ask a female, would you like to make $60 an hour? Or are you okay with making $25 an hour? Would you like to make $150,000 a year? Or are you going to be satisfied with making $70,000 to $80,000 a year? We can't have, like that one girl I met years ago. I did a presentation and she came up to me and said, "Sir, I want to be an auto service technician." I said, "Great, congratulations. I think it's a great career to pick." She says, "I have one small problem." I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "My parents want nothing to do with skilled trades for me. They want me to go to university." And I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" "Sir, I want to be an auto service technician." Her parents told her that she was too good to be involved in a skilled trade. Now, what does that mean? When you love something and you have a passion for something, does it really matter? And I think that's something that our parents need to get over as well. So, no, jobs in skilled trades are not good jobs for women. That's a myth. We need to get over that. Myth number 2, jobs in skilled trades are not creative. I encourage you to go to any hair salon on a Saturday morning. When an entire wedding, what do we call it? Wedding party. Thank you. That's such a hard word. When an entire wedding party gathers in a hair salon to get their hair done, you tell a hairstylist that what they're doing isn't creative. You tell a carpenter that what he's doing or she's doing is not creative. I'll take you up to Local 183. You take a look at some of the work, some of the fireplaces that were built by the bricklayers. Unbelievable. Engineers couldn't do what those guys did. Incredible work. There's a lot of creativity. Painters, auto service technicians. All right, there's a lot of creativity that's involved in being a part of a skilled trades person. Myth number 3, job and skilled trades are not important. Well, let's start off first with money, because to me, money is important. You should know that the average skilled trades person across Canada makes 10% more money than the average Canadian. And when you wake up in the morning and turn on the water, who did that for you? When you turn on the lights, your phone that you plugged in overnight, the heat that came into your house, the roof over your head, the floor that you walk on, probably the chair that you're sitting on. All those people were skilled tradespeople. Think about the fire sprinklers in this room here. God forbid there would be a fire. A skilled tradesperson did that. The lights that are in here. So when we say these jobs are not important, that's another myth. Okay? Number 4, skilled trades is no place for a woman. Again, 12 years ago when I sat in the staff room and I looked around and there were 16 men and 4 women, I said to myself, maybe there is no place for a woman to be here. 12 years later, maybe women are saying the same thing about men. Maybe men shouldn't be sitting in this room. So whatever career you pick, Whatever career you pick, do you love to do it? Is it your passion? Then that's the career you should pursue. Don't let anybody tell you that, hey, this is not a job, there's no place for a woman to be. All right? Think about that famous racing car driver. Where's our auto service people? What's her name? Danielle Patrick. Tell her that racing cars is no place for women. Okay? Myth number 5, skilled trades are for non-academic students. This is why we ask our grade 12 students who want to be involved in electrical that they must have their grade 12 college math and they must have their grade 12 college physics. I think you need to be pretty academic. I think you need to be pretty academic when you're standing on a job site and you don't have a computer or a phone in your hand and you have to solve a problem immediately without any technical support. You have to be pretty creative and you have to be pretty cognitively clear. So again, another myth, that you don't have to be academically bright or in tune to be involved in a skilled trade. And myth number 6, no female mentors for young women. We're going to meet a lot of female mentors today, and some of them are your age. And you're going to see how they took the plunge. And they jumped into the pool, and they realized that they could lead the charge like anybody else can. We have a lot of female mentors that exist out there, and now if we're watching television, you're going to meet today Kate Campbell, who's an incredible mentor for females. The things that she did, how she started, and where she is now, all females should be proud of what she's done and what she's continuing to do.
In 1970, the percentage of female in the trade was 4%. Now it's still 4%. What can we do about it? In the late 19th and early 20th century, women were fighting for the right to vote. They were not seen as persons. Today, women are still fighting for equality as workers. They are seen and treated differently from men in the work field.
Whenever I tell people I want to be an electrician or a carpenter, they look at me and they start laughing. Like, they tell me, but you're a girl.
One guy sent me out because he said that I belong in an office. So he looked up, looked down, didn't even acknowledge me, and actually called my friend in to say that, saying, don't do that to me again. Please find me a man.
Canada, currently in construction, there are only about 4% women in the workforce. The reason for that is probably because of stereotypes. Stereotypes that have been going on for years and years and years, which we're trying to change. And I think eventually it will change. It's a tough battle.
The females can do it in the trade. All it takes is a little bit of training in class and a little bit of practice. And the females will be as good as the males. There's absolutely no two ways about it. It's just all about training.
One of the main reasons why females don't enjoy the trade has to do a lot with the myths. These would prevent females from doing what they want to do and achieving their goals. These are some of the myths.
Women are not strong enough to handle heavy labor.
Not anymore.
It is a very physically demanding job, but what I find is that the women run the trucks better. They use the hydraulics, they use it to their full advantage just because typically a woman wouldn't have the upper body strength that's required for all the heavy lifting and stretching and stuff that we do in the trade. But there are definitely some out there. It's just not a predominant part of the workforce. It's more of a male-dominated workforce.
University-bound students are too smart for the trades.
Not anymore.
So I actually started in chemistry in a very academic family setting.
Being uneducated, you're going to learn very quickly that you do need to know a lot of the maths, some trade science, and there's constant training and upgrading going on throughout your career in the trades. So all those myths from before, we really want to dispel.
I'm 16, so at this age, I should be focusing on my career and what I want to be when I'm older. And I'm very interested in going to the trades. I'm a very hands-on person, so that is why the trade is best for me. I'd rather do something with my hands and move around a lot instead of sitting at a desk all day and doing paperwork. It's just not me.
I worked for the union, and as well as owning my own business. I liked owning my own business because it's artistic, but I liked the union work because it was good pay and I liked their training facility. and everything else. In terms of struggles, the biggest struggles I've had were the attitude of not being able to do it because I'm a woman. I know other women have not had this problem before.
While I was going to and from college, I always see the people working on the street and I go, I can do that. So when I told my mom that I wanted to work at Toronto Hydro, she said to me, no way, all those men? And I said, Mom, don't worry, I'll find a husband real easy.
So ever since I was younger, I always used to watch my cousin and my grandpa at the mechanic shop. I used to work with them, and as I got older, I was thinking about what I wanted to be, and then I came to realize that I had a passion for working with cars, and I just love the smell of the shop. I love working on them. I love just being around them. It's like, it's a second home to me, and it's my passion, and I wouldn't trade for any other way.
Women on a job site make it hard for men to concentrate.
Not anymore.
Right now, women who are entering trades are finding it very gratifying. It's empowering them. They're no longer dependent, as years ago, on males within their family or spouse or whatever. Women are able to make their own decisions and empower themselves in their future and their family.
Women should be stay-at-home moms. Not anymore. A lot of the guys think girls shouldn't be working in a man's job, but a girl can do anything a guy can do, so.
Society has to open their eyes and realize that no more do women have this typical lifestyle of being at-home mothers or nurses or teachers.
If a female were to join the trade, I feel like it would connect to the social justice principle of human dignity and working workers, because every female deserves equal amount of respect and they should be treated equally to any male coworkers in their workplace.
Our wonderful folks here, the video crew, the students at Bishop Morocco Thomas Merton for putting that together for us. Thank you very much. Now, if you look inside your bag, you don't have to look in now, but later on, have a close look. There's a little brochure that will indicate how many skilled trades actually do exist in Ontario. There's about 156 different apprenticeship opportunities and on-the-job training programs. So, there's 4 different sectors. There's the construction sector, there's the industrial sector, there's the service sector, and of course there's the automotive sector. And when you look through that, oftentimes people might say, well, you know, I always thought about that as a hobby. But oftentimes your hobby could turn into your passion, and passion may sometimes help you earn a living. So there's a lot of people that just like to play around with cars, or they like to build things. So there are certainly a whole bunch of different careers that do exist out there. And what we've done is, we've created what we call, we're going to talk about the accelerated OEF programs and the SHSM programs. So what we've done is, and this is primarily for grade 12 students. So think about when you're, whatever grade that you're in as you're moving towards grade 12. So just like in some of our schools, we have advanced placement for students that want to go to university and want to start taking university courses while they're in high school. Well, this is the exact same thing. The average age of an apprentice in Ontario is between 26 and 30. So what we've done is, we've taken some of the more high-profile programs that exist, or trades that exist, and we've partnered with colleges and with universities, and colleges and unions. We've partnered with them, and we've taken our grade 12 students, and we're sending our grade 12 students during their last semester of their last year to that actual college or union to earn their basic level 1. There's usually 3 levels. Okay, so basic level 1, intermediate, advanced, and then you write your certificate of qualification exam. And that could all take between 4 to 6 to 7 years to complete all that. Okay, so that basic level, those first 8 weeks, we're getting our secondary school students to finish that by the time they finish high school. So by the time they're 17, 18, they've already got their part 1, their basic level 1, and they're already 10 years ahead of the game. Because the average age person, like I mentioned before, is about 26 to 30, and they don't even have their basic level 1 yet. So what we've done is we've partnered with schools like Humber College for our Cook program. Humber is a world-renowned school when it comes to the Cook program. So our students actually go there during second semester and take their basic level 1 and their co-op placement at the same time. The Automotive Service Tech program, which has been around for 17 years now. And you're going to meet one of our graduates today who was part of that program and is now doing very, very well for herself. And we've partnered with Centennial College. So by the time our students finish grade 12, they'll have their basic level 1 and their co-op placement. They'll have their high school diploma. They'll have all that bundled up. Child development practitioner, if you like working with young children, particularly between the ages of 4 to 6 years of age. That's also considered a skilled trade. So we've partnered with Seneca College for that. Drywall, the local 675, we've partnered with them. Child and youth worker, there's a huge shortage of child and youth workers in our schools. And so we've partnered with Centennial College. So you can go there as well while you're in grade 12 to work towards your certificate of qualification. Our plumbing program, we've got plumbing program at Humber and at George Brown College as well. You can pick either school to go to. And you spend 8 weeks there and you get your basic level 1. Our electrical program, probably one of our most popular programs. It's also offered through Humber College and George Brown College. Now remember, all these programs you're picking the one that you like while you're still in secondary school. Okay, while you're still in secondary school, completing your secondary school credits, you're receiving credits here in regards to co-op and dual credits. We're going to talk about that as well. Okay, refrigeration and air conditioning systems mechanic. We do that through George Brown College. Hairstyling. This is our 7th, 8th, 9th year. I think it's our 9th year in hairstyling now. But this is our first year that we've partnered with a company called Studio 500. So now our students, when they graduate at the end of June, they're actually too going to have their basic level 1. And if anyone knows anything about hairstyling, if you graduate from high school and 2 or 3 years from now decide that's what you want to do, you're going to have to go to a private school like Marvell or Bruno's. Cost for 8 months, $8,000. Through the OYAP program, 0. Okay, so something to keep in mind. Our Baker program, George Brown College is second to none when it comes to their Baker program. They have state-of-the-art facilities down at the King campus. They're an outstanding institution, and the students that are in this program are absolutely the most overwhelmingly passionate people that I've ever met. Their program actually lasts 15 weeks right into the summertime, and all of them complete those programs each and every year. So our hats are tipped off to those students that are in that program. Construction craft worker, we partnered with Local 183. And every year we have a whole bunch of students that are in that program as well. The carpenter program, it's usually at the College of Carpenters and Allied Trades, but this year, for the first time ever, we're also offering it at George Brown College, and you're going to meet our fine young ladies that are part of that program today. The floor covering installer is also a program that we offer at the College of Carpenters and Allied Trades. So all these programs here, you can actually take while you're still in secondary school, still registered with your school, okay? You're not leaving high school, but while you're in second semester, a good part of that time, you will not be spending in high school. You'll actually be spending your time at either the union or the college getting your basic level 1. And by the time June 30th rolls around of your graduating year, you've got your high school credits, you've got your high school diploma, you've got your basic level 1 in the specific trade that you've picked, and there's a really good chance that your employer, if you're good at what you do and you love what you do, you're going to be offered a part-time or full-time job. And you're going to meet again some people again today who went through that very process. Okay? Another program that we have and I'm going to introduce Ms. Mustakato to come up and speak, is the Specialist High Skills Major Program that's now offered in many of our schools. Ms. Mustakato, are you here? She is.
Okay. Hi, everyone. All right, so first of all, before I begin, how many of you have heard of the Specialist High Skills Major Program? Just raise your hand if you have one in your school and you've heard of it. Okay, wonderful. And many of you who are here today probably are familiar with SHSM because when you're in grade 11, we have over 57 programs in the TCDSB of the Specialist High Skills Major. And what does it look like? Oh, let me just go back for 1 second. Okay, so basically, what is the SHSM program? SHSM, as I mentioned before, begins in grade 11. It's a ministry-approved program that allows you to specialize in an economic sector while you're in high school. So see at the bottom of my graphic here, you'll notice that we have all these different economic sectors at the bottom. We have 12 different sectors within the TCDSB that our high school programs allow students to try to test out and see whether or not they want to specialize in that area. OYAP is a pathway program. So is SHSM. What this allows you to do, and I'm going to just go to my next slide to show you, is this is what it actually looks like. And so an SHSM program has a couple of different components. So a student in an SHSM program, for example, in construction or transportation, which are two examples of a non-traditional trade, that students in the high school level can begin to specialize in, they begin by taking a bundle of credits. So your courses are very specific to that sector. So for example, you would take anywhere between 8 to 10 courses that are specialized. So if it's construction, they would all kind of relate to that sector. So you have a taste, you can try it out through the courses that you're actually taking. This also includes 2 credits of co-op. So not only are you able to take courses that you specialize in, but you're going to have on-the-job training to see if this is something you might want to consider going into. Another really cool thing about the SHSM program is that not only are you taking courses, you also have other things called experiential learning opportunities. So students in an SHSM program get to go to, for example, a conference, or maybe they go to the auto show. So they get to experience what that sector looks like. And they get to meet people and to go to different events that give them a better understanding of that particular economic sector. They also have what's called reach ahead opportunities. This is where you begin to look at your pathway destination. So if you're thinking about going to university or to college, you might go in and sit on a lecture. You might go visit a campus. If you're thinking of going into an apprentice, or you're thinking about going directly into the workplace, you can job shadow. You can go visit the union and find out more information about that. So that's part of the program. But what's really fabulous, and this is I think where what really makes the SHSM program stand out, is that you get certification and training. There are certifications that are recognized by the industry. So I'll give you an example. You can take anywhere between 7 to 10 different certifications, and what you're looking at is something like first aid and CPR. Well, if you're in an SHSM program, that gets paid for and it becomes part of the bundle of this particular program. And the ministry funds that. If you're a construction student, you would do working at heights. And if anybody ever tried to do a certification in working at heights, it can cost you anywhere between $100 to $150. It's part of the program. Finally, you have to complete also the Ontario Skills Passport. And that's basically an opportunity to identify soft skills, skills that are recognized if you're going to be an employee. So it's your workability skills. So things like collaboration, being able to be organized, those are part of the Ontario Skills Passport. And so really, if you look at the benefits, it allows you to specialize, to customize your secondary school education within a very specific economic sector. It allows you to develop specialized skills and knowledge while you're still in high school. You also get to earn some experiences that post-secondary institutions might recognize. And finally, it gives you those sector-specific certifications and training that are going to be key points on your resume. And so if you're thinking about going into OYAP, SHSM is a great way to start that, to taste it, to see what it's like. In fact, they work very well together. Thank you. Luciano?
Right. Sandra? So, I think You know, I think back when I was in high school, 3 years ago. See, I was waiting for someone to tune in. When I was in high school in the 70s, you just picked this course and that course, and that was it. And I think now we need to really sit down and do our homework, because there are so many different pathways that exist for many of our students that are out there now. Oftentimes it can make your head spin. And I think what you don't want is to miss something and then go back 6 years later, 5 years later, and say, why didn't somebody tell me about that? When in actual fact it did exist, but you weren't doing your homework. So we're really, really lucky because we're a big part of the social media generation right now. We shouldn't be missing anything. When it comes to education, none of us should be missing any opportunity that exists in our schools. And if you speak to your guidance counselor, if you sit down, you should be making an appointment with your guidance counselor once every couple of months, just for 10 minutes, just for 5 minutes, to go over some of the things that you're doing, some of the plans that you have, because really, all of us, we're really dynamic. If we're really the kind of people that I know that you are, we're never really sitting still. We're always moving, we're always changing. If someone were to ask me today, what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, at my age, I would say, I think I've done it. But I realize, I think I still want to do more. So I think it's the same with you. You need to do your homework. Think about what you want to do when you grow up. And don't be ashamed or concerned over the fact that every 3 or 4 days, your mind is changing. It's evolving. What you like today, you may not like next year. I'll give you a good example. And this is no disrespect to the grade 7s in the group. But secondary school students, think back the way you dressed in grade 7. Would you dress that way now? No. Grade 7s, think back when you were in grade 4. Would you dress that way now? No. Okay. So the fact is that we really have a wonderful opportunity today to actually do a lot of research, because in our schools today there are more pathways and more opportunities than ever before. And one way you can actually look at this and start doing a profile on yourself is being more involved with My Blueprint. Who's heard of My Blueprint? Right, we've all heard of that, right? Our educational planner. And it's really a good way today to track all the things that you do. For example, you can go to My Portfolio reflection box, and you can do a little bit of reflection on what you've done and seen today. For example, consider some of the following things if you go to your My Blueprint. Which are the 6 myths that really surprised you or made you think? So of those 6 myths that I gave you, was there one there that really surprised you or put you in a really reflective nature or mood? Which one of the presenters inspired you at the end of this day? Did Kate Campbell's story resonate with you, or how? And how? Is there a trade you would like to learn more about? Do you use My Blueprint post-secondary and occupational planners to investigate how you could pursue a career in your trade of interest? So don't be afraid to upload some pictures of today. Take pictures later on of the people that are speaking, or the elementary students that are going downstairs to check the tech department out. So don't be afraid to engage a little bit more in My Blueprint, because it helps you track what you're doing and what you're learning. Okay? As a good teacher, you walk into a classroom prepared with a lesson plan. If you don't walk into a class prepared with a lesson plan, it might turn out that little improv that you did was really, really good. And how are you going to remember to use that again next year at the same time? So you should write everything down. God forbid you would never have to do what most of the teachers that do here years ago, we had to write every single lesson plan down. And then the following year we'd be doing the same thing looking back. Now it's wonderful. Put it on a computer, save it, and you can make some changes going forward. But it's really important to log everything. All this information that you're gathering, it's your homework, it's your study group. So when you make that decision to move on past high school, and it's coming very shortly, shorter than you think, when you make that decision, you can go back and check some of the things that you looked at, some of the things that you researched, and does it actually fit in with what I want to do going forward? Okay? So We're going to ask Ms. Mustakar to come back up here again because we're going to get you to join Kahoot now, right? All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, how many of you have tried Kahoot before? Okay, so this is your opportunity to take out your cell phones. Now, before we start Kahoot, I need to just remind you a few things. You're going to be asked for a name to go up on the board. And so with Kahoot, please use your last name and first initial so that we can identify who you are. All right? Now, this is your opportunity to earn some prizes. So what you're going to do is Mr. Luciano has gone through a whole bunch of information for you. And we're going to see and test your knowledge. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take out your phone and you're going to join Kahoot. Okay, Kahoot is Kahoot, K-O-H-O-O-T.it. And you're going to see it in just a minute. So if you can see it, there's no app, it's just a website. Okay, so you can see the item is right up on top. It says Kahoot.it, and you are going to enter this PIN number 471504. And I'm going to give you a few minutes to enter your name and to join, and then I'm going to begin the Kahoot session. Thank you. All right. Can you guys allow, up in the tech booth, can you guys just click on allow full screen? So when you are on the Kahoot app, we want you to put in your name and then we will get started. All right, so as soon as you enter your name should start to appear. Not appearing. Okay, let's try to refresh that. Tech reading refresh. Let's see if it'll run. This is the first time we're trying it with this many people, so we're hoping that our Wi-Fi will cooperate with us. Let's try one more time. Okay, can you try that one more time, everyone? Sometimes let's see if we can try it. You're on? Okay, so let's try with the new one, which is 471504. Okay, so still waiting for players. Let me see if I hit start. Okay, has anybody been able to get in yet? Okay, let's put it in one more time. Let's try this one more time, hit play. And try one more time, and then hopefully, if not, we will try to figure out the technical difficulties and come back to it. Okay. So let's try that one more time, 471. So make sure you put your nickname in and then hit join. Okay, I think what we'll do is we are going to, let's try this one more time and let's see if it's going to go through. Okay, tech crew up on top, can we shut down some of the top tabs? Because I have a feeling we have a few games running. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Excellent. All right. Stay on this page. Wonderful. Are we ready? Okay, I'll give you 37 seconds left. For me. Yes. Press start. question. That's it. Ready? 3 to 5%, and the winner is Avila. Avila, come on up, please, and get your prize. Next question. In the back, can you hit next? How many skilled trade workers will retire in the next 5 to 10 years? Let's see if you remembered that from Luciano's talk. Our winner is? Can we hit next? Abby Leon, come on up. Let's go to our next question, please. By the year 2020, how many skilled workers will be needed in Canada? Let's see who the next winner is. And the winner is? Hit next, please. So it's 1 minute. All right, let's go to our next question, please. There are over blank apprenticeship opportunities and on-the-job training programs. Renee from St. Joseph's